When products are still evolving, direction matters. Mathieu Peeters helped guide the Colorado XL launch at Canon Production Printing while the product was still taking shape. Today, we talk about leadership and alignment under uncertainty. Mathieu, welcome.
Thanks for joining us on this podcast. First question. What is your job title?
My job at the launch of the Colorado XL was Senior Director for Strategic Marketing Worldwide and Application Support. And now in this moment, I'm Vice President for Product Strategy and Management Worldwide.
Wow, promotion.
It's a very nice new job. I'm extremely keen to make a huge success out of it and to build the learnings we had for large format graphics for the total Canon Production Printing portfolio.
That's quite a challenge.
Yes, it is.
What does it entail? I mean, what are you going to do?
Simply listen to the experts, listen how they are doing it now, and try to make the best out of it. And also, let's say, take the example of large format graphics and roll that out over the other pockets together with you guys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, literally, you come into the office. What do you do? I mean, how does a day-to-day basis look like for you?
We are mainly, let's say, occupied with the preparation of new product introduction. And as we are developing towards platform development, which is our new trend, we have quite some products coming on for the upcoming 2 years. And we need to prepare that in the best possible way. The time to market is key. Let's say also the total fit to the target market and to have the best possible value proposition and product. And how that looks literally is have many discussions with my colleagues, with multidisciplinary colleagues, so not only marketing, also application support service is even more important for the total mix, and our colleagues of marketing communications. We are working extremely closely together, and on this moment we are doing that even multi-site. So that means Poing, Timisoara and Venlo all together as one big team. And also listen very carefully to the customers, to our reselling partners, because they know what's happening really in the field. And I don't believe in theoretical desk work here in Venlo. I believe to be with the people, together with the people, trust the experts and learning by doing, practical. Product management, product strategy with both feet on the ground.
I hear you. And even though I understand you say we, what does it mean for you? What do you do?
I don't see myself as a marketing man or as a manager. I see myself as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I think
nice one.
That's my job. That's also my parents were both entrepreneurs, separate from each other, from grandmother, grandfather, and so on. My mother's direction was in the photographic business, but also in the cigarettes, smoking rear. And my father was in the milling industry, so making the food for animals, and going from windmill to electronic mill. And he was automating everything. And that's also what his last profession was, from miller to automation specialist. Mm-hmm. And that's where I learned to fight for every customer, because at the end our customers are paying our salary, not our management. And what I love to do is exceed customer expectations and try to go from 1 customer to 2 customers to 4 customers to 8 to 16, 32 and so on. That's how I think it should work, and that's why I'm very often to find outside in the field, because the business is happening in the field, and I want to see, are the eyes twinkling of the customer, or is the customer doing...
Yep.
That's the difference, and you need to feel it, you need to see it, and you need to taste it.
I kind of like what you say. I mean, you feel like an entrepreneur. Why don't you... why aren't you an entrepreneur? Why aren't you doing it yourself?
I always dreamed to have my own company. What I try to do here at Canon, view it as if it was my own company, and try to act like an entrepreneur within a beautiful enterprise. and we have so many opportunities. Our company is consisting of approximately 3,000 colleagues, and making the connection, making the human connection, and try to make the best out of it is the most beautiful thing you can do, because only together you can succeed, and not even only with the 3,000 employees, but also with our partners from media, partners from software, partners from finishing. That is so much fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So entrepreneur and an entrepreneur.
Well, that's
and as I am
the best
now,
of both worlds.
Yeah, and as I'm now 57 years old, I just started my new job. I always commit for at least 5 years to be at the same job.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think in the Netherlands we're doing way too much job rotation. In Germany, where I worked for 12 years, there's way too little job rotation.
Yeah.
But I think the balance should be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Getting back to the job.
Mhm.
I mean, right now in your new job as a vice president, how do you set your goals? Are they given to you? Do you have your own set of goals? How does it work?
So we are defining a long-term plan, which is also done by our mother company, Canon Inc., also done by ourselves. How do we see the commercial printing market, and how do we want to grow from 2025 to 2030? And these are quantitative goals. These are given: revenues, profit, market share. That's the primary goals, but that's not a strategy. So what we are doing as a unit is to translate those goals into a strategy, and into tactics, into operation, to get a strategy into execution. Because typically what you see, beautiful strategy, beautiful plan, and then at the beginning of the year the plan is going into the cabinet, and we are simply proceeding the way we proceed. That's not what I believe in. So I'm taking the goals given by our top management, and we are translating that into actionable tactics and a strategy.
But take Excel Colorado as an example. When did you hear from that project for the first time? When was it?
When I was working in Germany as a marketing director for B2B, I was in love with the UV gel technology. I was really totally convinced this is the future.
How long ago was that?
This was 2019. 2019, 6 years ago, 7 years ago right now. And it was my biggest dream, because we only had at that time one product, the Colorado series, 1 meter 60, 64 inch. And I don't believe in one-trick ponies. And we were always, as a company, very good at selling one product. And when the next product comes, the other products goes down. Then the focus is always on the newest. I wanted to be able to release from a central point of view a global consistent concept, best-in-class value proposition, best-in-class marketing material, where we have all the same message as one big bang for this big new baby coming in 2025.
Is it fair to say that you're one of the initiators of this project?
Absolutely not. That's not. I think the founders of this project is my current manager, Dirk Broens. He was working at research and development at the very beginning. He worked at Canon EMEA, bringing that to the market. He is the founder, of course, together with Martijn van Hoorn, our CTO from research and development. That's where it all started. What I saw the reactions from the customers from a field point of view at Canon Germany. And I saw that this technology changed the way of working and diminished the limitations of the existing technologies like latex and EcoSolvent and UV, and put all the strength of those technologies into one concept, which is making an absolute difference for our customers and also for the print buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm absolutely not the founder.
Yeah.
I got it tried to make the best out of it from a sales point of view, and now I have the chance to market this in the best possible way together with our great team for marketing communications, marketing, the specialists and service.
Yeah, and that's where I want to go, because take the Excel Colorado as an example, and it goes for all your products, of course, but how do you deal with the fact that you have to be political on the management side, you have to be operational on the marketing side, on the R&D, and how do you cope with that?
It's one of the biggest challenges there is, and I see an organization as a means, not as a goal. At the end, the human beings, the employees, they are making the organization work or fail. That's one. From a political point of view, I hate politics. I don't do politics. I do the best I can. The only thing which I can promise to my manager is, when I can't get it done, nobody can get it done. So I do the ultimate best. I go to the ultimate. I go to the ultimate to get things realized in the best possible way with the team. And sometimes that is not easy, also not easy for my colleagues. But this is the way to go. This is the way how I work. And I don't do politics. At the end, politics is for me a threshold or a hurdle. And at the end, as I told you in the beginning of our podcast, the customer is paying our salary, not the management. And sometimes that is difficult.
I completely sympathize with you, and I couldn't agree more. However, knowing Canon a little bit, yes, you are in a position to say, I'm not doing any politics, but you have to deal with the United States, you have to deal with the EMEA, you have to deal with Asia. Those are different kind of cultures.
Yes, and what is the biggest challenge is that from a hierarchical point of view, we come together, the regions and the headquarters come together at the absolute top level in Tokyo. So I don't have any power influence on the regions. So how I work is, as a team, we try to deliver the best possible support ever. I don't act like a police agent. Hey, you have to. It doesn't work. We help, we give the best possible support, and at the end, when you deliver quality and you do your best and you are a reliable business partner, it works. They take you as a colleague. So let's say for the Colorado XL series, we had our first live viewing at Printing United in Orlando, USA, and they were defining the booth, and I was not so happy with the booth in the beginning. But together, we found the best-in-class solution, how we could best position it, simply working together as a team, as one single team, headquarters, USA in the lead, and we try to help in the best possible way. And yes, things go wrong, but we managed to make...
You say it with a smile.
Yeah, at the end, I think it was the best launch ever. Best launch ever which I've ever seen. Not even at Canon, but it was... I don't want to name other brands, but you know what I'm talking about. This was like the phone you're using, the brand, it's amazing. And that we did that together with Fourcorners. Fourcorners was a tremendous partner, and not only there at the end, but at the beginning, at the conceptual phase. You were here at the very first meeting when we were defining the messaging platform. You asked, can we be at research and development? We want to see the machine. Let us see how you make the ink in our UV-gel ink factory. We want to see where the print heads are made. You were part of the team. You felt like a colleague. And that's making like a difference. I agree.
Yeah.
And only then you can succeed. When you don't treat your, let's say, your partner, because you made excellent video content, we could say, here Fourcorners, here you have the brief, good luck with it. No, we developed the concept together. From conceptual phase, until execution phase. And then the most beautiful thing, at the end, I was not completely happy with. We were doing the demo with a prototype, and the prototype was not completely waterpass.
No, I know.
And that that resulted in some panels which were not completely aligned.
Yeah.
And as most people know, I'm an extreme car freak. And if there's one little line not 100% aligned, I'm getting totally crazy. I believe it was in the weekend. And it was not possible to make any corrections anymore to the global launch video.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't like those lines that they are not 100% straight. And you managed to correct it in 24 hours, which is, I think, is an amazing job.
Yeah, we have a magician at the office. I agree.
I was very happy with that.
Well, good to hear. First of all, thanks for the confidence, because I truly believe that a partnership is the way to go. But again, getting back to you, given a person in your position, so important in a massive company like Canon Production Printing, even though I hear you when you say I'm not political, you have to be political. And I kind of like it when you say we, because you feel like you're working together as a team, which is great. But there's also you. And you have to put in some kind of effort in order to create the we feeling. So what are your challenges? And how do you overcome them?
The biggest challenge is that in headquarters in this role, you are in a sandwich position. I have my manager, I have my colleagues, and I have the regions. And they all want something from you, how to make that balance act, how to make it work. And I think what is extremely important that you have a manager, that I have a manager who's trusting me totally. And he simply says, you are a specialist on product strategy and product management. And when you create a value proposition, you are the expert. So trust, that's extremely important. And it helps me to avoid politics. From a regional point of view, there are always conflicts of interest. Urgent, long-term, priority, less priority. And that's sometimes difficult. And what I always try to ask is, what is the question behind the question? Why do you need this? And what is behind it? And sometimes, and that is my weak point. My weak point, I have very much difficulties saying no. Sometimes I'm too much, I want to do it good for everybody. And that's impossible. That's a huge challenge. But what I try to do there is create trust and transparency by saying, I can't do this because. And also not trying to make a fuzzy talk, make it very explicit. I will not I can't, but I will not do it. But that's one of my weakest points. And sometimes my wife always tells me, you think that there are 36 hours in a day, and there are only 24, and of those 24, you should be able to get your work done in 8 hours. And that's very difficult for me, because it's when you work in a factory, at the end of the day, you're ready. When you're working in product strategy and product management, the work is never done. That's my main challenge. How to get the best
strength, I would say, because you do it.
Everything can be better. The money is on the street. You only have to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And that's also what I'm totally convinced of. We need to act like a small, mid-sized company and not like a big, huge corporate with internal processes. Of course, we have to respect the organization. We have to respect the processes. But don't meet for meetings. Don't document for the documentation. Live outside in. That's where I'm grown up. I'm grown up in the field, fighting for every customer worldwide in a very small company, going down to Canon, which is much bigger, but the part commercial print within the total Canon entity is quite a small growth brilliant, where we want to grow immensely. So So that is interesting, but we only can survive when we act like a small company, fighting for every customer, agile development methods, and fast decision making, less meetings, more responsibility.
But that's really hard. I mean, you've got legal, you've got research and development, you've got sales, you've got marketing. That's not a small company.
Yeah. And legal is getting more and more important, because everything you state has to be validated, not only on a headquarters level, but also on a regional level, sometimes even on a national level. That's not easy, but also here, I learn a lot from legal. Chief legal officer is my biggest friend. And he doesn't help me to get things speed up, but I try to explain to him how important is time to market and how can we make this together work. And then you come further.
No, I kind of like that. Make that concrete. Again, the Colorado XL. A product that didn't exist at the time. Then you have to convey that into a story, marketing, whatever. And then all of a sudden, legal comes around and they say, hey, not going to happen.
Yeah. In the past, we had huge challenges because the outside world is getting more and more complex. So the legal aspect is getting traction. What we try to do, just like with you, we got the legal into place at the very beginning. And how we try to work at Canon is everything starts with the messaging platform, and all deliverables are deviated from that messaging platform. If you have the messaging platform approved by legal, then the hurdles afterwards are much less. Lex, then you can win the world. When you have the total messaging platform approved by legal, the rest is a conclusion.
I hear you, but it feels like a bit the world upside down, that legal determines everything.
So marketing makes the message, and the value proposition manager is an extremely important person who is making the value proposition, consisting of the printer, the pre and the post, the software, the partners, the after-sales service concept, the warranty concept. But at the end, it has to be legally proved. You can't say we are the best, because there has to be a legislation under it. How do you prove? What are you comparing it with? Or we are better? Or we are using less ink? Okay, it has to be, everything you state needs to be related to something which is written down, which can be, that you can prove it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I like it. This is the way it should work. You can't claim something which you can't prove. And that's where we invested a lot in technical white papers, where we are working closely together with research and development, where we write down how is our technology working, what are the benefits for the customer from all aspects. And this total white paper is also totally checked by legal on telling 100% the truth, and not tricking the truth. It's simply not compliant, it's not legally proved, it doesn't work. And that helps again in making the right statements in the messaging platform, which is the basis for all deliverables.
All right, now I understand. Besides legal, of course, all the divisions, they have their own goals, marketing, research, whatever. How do you create the willingness, and I'm specifically talking about you, how do you create the willingness of all those persons, divisions, that they're going to work on the same goal, that the end product will be the same?
I love this question, Lex, and I think this is one of my biggest power. Respect the people, trust the people on their expertise, and be how to say it, an example. Try to be an example. For example, at the end of the day, sometimes I'm not going home, but when I see the light burning at research and development, I step in. I'm asking how are things going. I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm helping loading paper. Make your hands dirty. Work. work together as one team. And again, go to the ultimate. I will never forget, we had the preparations for the Printing United. We were printing seamless wallpaper, 3 meter 20 high, so 10 foot high, over a length of, I think it was 20 meter. It was quite a challenge because we didn't have the product ready. We had a prototype.
Yeah. And
customers will always see the artifacts. So it has to be perfect quality. We do that together. I've been evening after evening, I was there together with research and development, together with service, together with my colleagues. Bring in a fly, regional food.
And they feel that.
Yeah. It's commitment. It's commitment from two sides.
Yeah.
Research and development going the extra mile, marketing going the extra mile, everybody going the extra mile. Same for legal. Don't send an email, go there, go to the 6th floor and have a discussion face to face. Why is this so important for us? And also legal people are just like human.
I kind of like what you said, because a commitment and being actually in the factory, loading stacks of paper or whatever you do, that commitment, that's the same universal language in all the divisions, whether you're on research and development or whatever. But still, the way to communicate with R&D is different than with marketing.
That's absolutely true. I'm a little bit lucky. I started my career, I studied informatics on the Technical University in Eindhoven, and that's my background. And that helps me through my total career. People can't fool me. I know technical stuff. And I learned marketing on the NCR Business School in Fontainebleau, where I have the mix of, let's say, business and technical. And I think you have to speak the language of the audience. To a customer, you have a different discussion. As with the research development, you have a different discussion with legal. And that helps me a lot. And I also think what helps me a lot, because what you are talking about, Lex, is employee engagement. How do you get the employees engaged? And to my opinion, this is about putting the dot on the horizon. What is our long-term plan? How we started our podcast. How are we going there? And do we believe in it? And also try to create trust, try to create conflict. Because when you have conflict, when you don't have conflict, you don't get commitment. You need to be able to say, this is not good. This is not what we're going to do. Okay, let's have the discussion. Then you got commitment, then hold each other accountable, and then you get the best results. I'm a totally believer in that. And maybe a nice sidestep for the Christmas dinner party. We made a Canon house band. I'm playing the guitar in my free time.
Cool.
And we had a Canon band consisting of multiple business lines, research and development, marketing, professional services, and the bass player, I play music with him since 25 years. He is working at the production site. So again, multidisciplinary team, making music from employees towards employees.
Yeah.
It was a huge party, and that creates a sense of belonging and a sense of we are doing things together.
Yeah.
And music connects.
Yeah. Even though I can fill it in because I see your smile. At the end of the day, when are you happy? What makes you feel that you succeeded in whatever goal you might have on that day?
Every day I wake up, before I step up, I'm asking myself, what are the 3 great things I'm going to do today? What is giving me energy? At the end of the day, when I go to bed, I think the same. What were the 3 things which brought me energy? Doesn't have to be the same. When we had this interview this morning, I was really looking forward to this interview. That's how I program myself. At the beginning of the week, I do the same. What are the 3 things for this week? At the end of the week, I'm reviewing, doing that from day to day, month to month, week to week, month to month, year to year. And I'm trying to get that done also towards my team, because I believe in celebrating successes. They can be very small, doesn't have to be big, but simply looking back, what are the great things we did together. It's the only thing how I can motivate myself, because to be honest, in a big corporate organization, many things don't go the way you want. Many times you don't have those beautiful days, but you have to motivate yourself. This is the way I'm doing that.
Yeah.
When is a day successful? There I still have to learn. I'm extremely results oriented, and I'm enjoying when things are going the way I want them to go. So at the end of not even at the end, at the first day of Printing United, I'm totally excited that everything is the way how I visualized it myself a year ago. But what I have to learn is not to enjoy that moment, but enjoy the process towards that moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's very difficult to me.
Yeah.
I'm more running from success to success to success, and we have many product launches for the future, the upcoming future, which we all have to prepare from a value proposition point of view, pricing point of view, positioning, competition, etc. And I need to learn to enjoy the process and not only the result, which we create together as a team.
Yeah. I kind of like what you just said. Again, getting back to the Excel Colorado as an example. Do you feel that the way you wanted it to position it and the way it is positioned in the market, are they similar?
I want to have the best of the best of the best. And I think at the end, it totally exceeded my expectations. Why? Because it was a total customer confirmation that we had the right messaging. And we have been working for it, I think, for over 2 years, with customer visits, with partner visits, bringing all the information back. How is that market working? What are the key drivers? What are the key challenges customers are facing with the existing technology? And to be honest, Lex, we nailed it. You nailed it. We nailed it together. And the biggest one I thought was I had one customer sitting a little bit on his chair, and it was at Printing United. I asked him, "Sir, how can I help you?" And he said, "It's always, no, I'm just looking. I said, "You don't have to be scared. I'm not sales, I'm marketing." And he said, "Hey, this is a great machine." So shall I show you what you can do with it? Mm-hmm. And I brought him to the seamless wallpaper. And he was touching it. "Is this printed on that printer?" I said, "Yes, it's walled like this, mounted like this. This is exactly my application." "What is the media you're printing on?" I tell him the media. "This is exactly the media I'm running." And then the next question was, how much is the machine? Sales cycle of 5 minutes, Lex.
Yeah.
We nailed it.
So you already sold a couple of them?
Oh, we sold many of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I can't tell you a number because of strategic information, but even the order intake is exceeding our expectations. I'm afraid that we can't make enough machines to fulfill the market demand.
That's a luxurious position.
Best position you can have.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Colorado M series, we have a very productive machine where we not have a real competitor, because the competitors are either faster or slower. We are in another space, which typically with the Colorado M series we are replacing 2 or 3 slower machines, which is not an easy deal. Now with the big machine, with the Colorado XL series, we have a one-to-one comparison. Mm-hmm. So a customer is running such a machine, takes machine out, get that machine in, and then his business is continuing. And despite of the fact that the value of the machine is much higher than the Colorado M series, you still have an easier deal because it's one-to-one.
Mm-hmm. A little sidestep. I don't want to downgrade, of course, the marketing efforts to the other products. However, when you take the Colorado XL, that product didn't exist. So you had to put in all the efforts, and I'm of course going to talk about the animation part of it. How important was it to have a visual of a product that didn't exist in order to sell what you wanted to sell.
I thought you guys are totally crazy. So Chris and Lucy were coming to a studio with a green screen, and I saw Chris putting plates in the space, so nowhere. I thought, my goodness, this can't go right. This is totally crazy. And then when I saw the end result, it was amazing. And I think everything has been done with renders, with virtual machines. I even don't know how you did it. But again, how you did it, I think it was really magic. But it all started with the messaging platform, which we have been creating together. You've seen how the machine works. You've seen the prototype. You've been working together with us on the messaging platform. And at the end, the outcome, it was simply amazing. And you made that happen without a machine. Even the demo, which we videotaped at our machines and logistics, it was a prototype. And even there, I think you made magic by realizing this all in parallel, because typically you have the waterfall model. So first release, then create the marketing content, and then go to market. We did it all in parallel.
I do agree. You mentioned before that we could not have accomplished it if we weren't a partner in the whole process.
Exactly.
It's too complicated to understand if you just get an assignment and do that and film that. No way. Thanks for that. I mean, it gives a basis of trust to do that.
And sometimes we as Canon, we are too much focused inside out. And when you are in the process, you are acting like a customer. I always tell my colleagues, when you can't explain it at home and at the kitchen table in 2 minutes, the story is not right.
Yep.
And that's where you helped us to make it much more concrete. Also, you have been analyzing the competition. We were working as one team from beginning to the end. And that's, to my opinion, one of the key success factors. How you could make magic with it. Because I really thought, seeing the photos, Chris and Danique, with you guys at the green screen, oh my God, how can that ever work? Not even knowing exactly how we're putting the plates in the right height, because there was no table. You're putting the rigids in space.
Yeah.
And now we have the results. It's spot on.
Push the bar a lot higher for the next project, but besides that.
Exactly.
What were the biggest challenges, regardless of the animations, the whole project, and for you as a person, what were the biggest challenges you had to face?
First of all, product definition from a commercial items part. How to proceed with modularity. How can we make a system when a reselling partner is selling the product that he has only one stock item and that he can configure the machine on the level the customer wants. Our learnings from the Colorado M series. I think that was a huge task. The second, I would say, pricing. We did the pricing completely different than many other companies are doing in the, let's say, capital goods. Typically, pricing strategy is cost up. You take cost price, put a factor on it, and then you go. To be honest, we didn't know the cost price in the beginning, Lex. We simply were doing everything market down. What is the willingness to pay for customers and for partners for such a type of machine, given the fact that it's totally different than all others in the market. We did there an excellent job, again with the total team, special help from portfolio strategy, because they have the lead at that early phase of the project. So modularity, pricing, and I think we had many patents issued for this new technology, resulting in the 5 key technologies which you know. How to make that message to the total message from technology, innovation, towards customer benefits. What's in it for the customer? I think these are the 3 challenges, which we really nailed in this project based on already 6 years learning as a team together.
Mm-hmm. Might be a little bit of an overlap in the answer, but if you had to redo such a project, what would you do differently right now from the start?
This sounds extremely arrogant. Nothing.
Yeah, perfect.
I would do exactly the same.
And what's the future going to bring?
The future is going to be great. The Colorado XL series is the first of our platform development. So we, with research and development, we developed from product development to platform development. Colorado XL series is the first product out of this platform. The Vario Press IV7 is the second one, which will be going to market soon, or which will be push out the first products, and then the upcoming products will coming up. So the future is extremely bright. We are the absolute inkjet specialist in professional printing and commercial printing, and this is just a start, Lex.
And for you as a person? I mean, you're vice president right now.
Oh my God. What I would love to do is to learn how the other groups are doing their product strategy and product management on this moment. Try to learn from the good things and implement the good things with large format to the other ones, and try to create one uniform Canon Production Printing product strategy and product management approach, independent of location, human beings, and be 100% benchmark. So do Formula 1 product strategy and product management for this beautiful company and these beautiful products.
Yeah. So it's fair to say that you're here to stay.
Absolutely. What else?